there, thanks for joining me. We're on the coffee van, the Peugeot J9. Got a problem with this rear suspension. Well, I wasn't sure whether it was the shock absorber that was seizing up or the actual arm itself, and it turns out it's the arm. I've just literally put a jack under it, took the shock absorber off, tried jacking it, and I'll show you in a minute how sticky it is. This works in a bit of an unusual way. It's got like the arm is attached to a tube that goes into another tube with a big leaf spring, a metal spring inside it that twists like a torsion bar arrangement. So I've took the 4 bolts out. There's 4 bolts here. We're going to disconnect the brake pipe. There's a U-clamp underneath. Hopefully get the shock absorber disconnected from the other side and then try and draw the whole thing out. Never done one before. There's nothing on the internet about it, how to get it out. So I'm running a bit blind here. I've got a little instruction book, but it's so basic, it doesn't tell you a great deal at all about it. But we're going to give it a go, see if we can get it out, bash it, whack it. I'll put some lube on it. So yeah, let's see if we can strip it out and get this whole leg out and then try and freeze the 2 tubes apart. So one slides inside the other, held in with a circlip on the end. So we should be able to take the circlip out and then draw the thing out. But we ain't going to do that till it's all out. So yeah, let's crack on. Just put this jack under here. I'll show you how. We seem to have a really limited movement with it. So you see how jerky that is? And that's as far as it goes. It won't go up any more than that. And then when we jack it down, oh, see that? See how like it's stuck and then went? That's got the whole weight of the van on it now, and it's just not going. It's miles away from the bump stop. Nowhere near that. It's got about another 6 inches of travel to get up to the bump stop. Let's pull it out. So underneath here, you can see the leg on this side, the distance we've got there, and if I show you the other side, how much further it's sticking down. And the whole arrangement is this set up here. That side, you can see that one's quite oily, it's got a bit of lube in there. It comes across to the centre where you've got this clamp with a couple of bolts that peg the springs. These are your springs here that go across. They are split in the middle, so it's sided. And then on this side, you can see this one's a lot dry. I've squirted lube in there, but it's still, it was completely dry. And it rotates on this tube. One tube inside the other is where the actual rotation is. So we've got to take off this. This is a U-clamp. So we take the 2 bolts out there, and then on that side, up there, there's a U-clamp that goes right over this tube. And then we should be able to get the whole arrangement out the side of the van, sliding it out with these springs. Now this could be under a little bit of tension, but if I pop them bolts out of there, it should release anything here. So yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what happens. I can see me getting this apart and it being a real pig to get it back together again. Just undone the U-clamp, and straight away this whole thing has become loose and is wanting to come out. It's bloody heavy though. I've put a jack under it, I think. It weighs a ton. Here it comes. Oh my God. Are the springs staying here, or are they coming out as well? But have a look. Well, the springs are staying there. They're staying put. What a flipping thing. What an unusual one.
This is really heavy and really awkward to get. You can't get your body into the wheel arch to get decent leverage on it, or yeah, it's really awkward to hold it.
Come out with a right thud, isn't it? So when we put it back in, I suppose it's got to go in at this same trajectory so that them springs will lock into whatever's inside here. A bit to go yet.
I'm just thinking to myself, how can I support this when it comes out? It's going to drop. I need to support it somehow because I just can't hold it, and it, like I say, it's really heavy.
Oh, that's heavy. I wonder if it will spin round now. I feel like it's off those springs.
I've got some old caravan steps that might just be the right height. If I can slide them underneath and then pack it with a bit of wood. If it does come out, it's just not going to fall and hit the floor now. I can barely pick the end up on it, it's so heavy.
Oh, it's out. The springs are still there. But this actual unit is out. God, it weighs a ton. Ugh. Oh my God, are we ever going to get it back together again? Look at them, there's your leaf springs there, look. Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it?
Now whatever you do, don't pull that trolley jack out the way because it might be resting on something. Don't like that. Oh no. Hello, is there anybody in there?
Oh God, there's two shims inside there. How on earth are we ever going to get that back together again? That's going to be a real pig.
Now in the old J9 manual that I've got, that is all in French as well, if we go to the suspension part, and this is quite a good book, it's got a lot of information in there.
So we've got like a front suspension breakdown. And that is what I've got on the rear, look, it just shows you a bit of a schematic of it. Explaining about the springs, but you see they've got this special bit of kit to guide it in and out, which we don't have. Another special tool there, which we don't have. Another one there we don't have. There's a clamp there that they're using to peg them all together to slide them in so that they fit. So yeah, you can see it gives us an idea of what we've got to do. But that is it, look, there's nothing else. It's literally, that's all we've got to go on.
And the one thing I'm missing, the most important thing, is the white workshop smock. If you haven't got one of them, you don't know what you're doing. Just try and lay this down flat, and then we can attempt to get those springs out. I can just pull those out the rest of the way.
There's your springs. So we've got this big circlip on the end. If we take that off, maybe we'll be able to move something.
Now this is a really hefty circlip. I've got my biggest circuit pliers I can find, but it is so tight. One side's moving, the other side's completely stuck. So I get the screwdriver in there and just try and work it around, levering it as we go, trying to pry it out. Don't want to bend it though, so I've got to be careful not to really force it and bend it, otherwise it will never go back. Just prise that last bit out. Okay, now we can see the joints, see which bit rotates, and maybe we can get some oil down there, or hopefully separate it. Knowing how tight this was though, putting the jack on it, trying to rotate it, I've got pretty much no hope of getting this out by levering it with a pry bar like that. I thought I'd give it a go though, you know, you never know, something might happen, but it's completely stuck. I might have to try and get the hydraulic ram on it and see if that'll separate it. Right, so I've just slipped the leg back in again, and I've got me Clark strong arm bodywork press, and now this has got a 2-ton scissor on the end of it. Will that get behind it and pull it out? I don't know. Let's see if I can separate this bearing. If I can get that in there behind it. So there's no springs in here, this is literally just the unit straight in there, and I put the bolts back in just to hold it in place. Because we've got the circlip off and everything, so I don't see why it shouldn't do. Well, it just depends how seized it is, doesn't it? Let's have a quick go, see if we get any joy. Ooh. Wow, that's got like a lot of pressure on it, and it's not budged a millimetre. And if I try and jack that so it rotates it at the same time, what's going to be the outcome? Is it just going to chuck that out, or is it going to go bang and do something? Pressure on there still. I'm going to rotate it. It's rotating. I don't think it's moving out. And of course now there's no spring to push that back down again, so we are going to be in a stuck situation if you're not too careful. Last ditch attempt, I'm going to try and put this ram in a different position. It's really tight though, there's not a lot of gap there. If I can just get it between the bodywork and the arm and try and push it and jack it and see if it can shift it. So this isn't going anywhere, not at all, completely stuck. And the other thing is my camera decides to fail. Now I've got a bit of security cam footage just to finish this off for you. What I did was to pull that arm back out again. You can see it there. I bolted it back into the wheel and I put the circlip back on again. I've then drilled a hole straight through the outer casing at the top and filled it with duck oil. Then put it back into the hub again, and then I'm going to lower these springs now down into that tube to locate it in the little square fixing at the bottom. This is just going to make the whole thing so much more heavier as well, because I now, when I pulled it out before and it was really heavy, it didn't have these springs in it, but now I've dropped those springs back in, located them into that slot at the bottom, and that's the only way I could think about to get this through. I couldn't see any way of lining it up. So I stood and scratched my head for a bit and then decided, let's go for it, let's try and get this back in again. So I've left the wheel on for a minute just to try and lift it and get it near. I thought it might help it to get it nearby. I've got my clamp on the end of that spring to hold them together. Just put like some vice grips across them. Hopefully that'll just let me align it just to get it through. So we've got the wheel, we managed to lift this in. I can't say again, it was really heavy to manoeuvre it and lift it, but I couldn't think of another way of doing it. I couldn't get the engine crane down there to pick it up. It was just too awkward. The wheel arch was in the way. But we've got some tape round it as well, some tape round them springs, the clamp on there, just to try and get them all lined up, and then hopefully I can jack this and just manoeuvre it in a little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time, moving it in slowly, trying to line it up, scratching my head a few times. A couple of Weetabix. and we just about managed to get that back in again. Check under here, make sure it's lined up. We can get the bolts back in. We can bleed, that's just bleeding the brakes up again. Allow that wheel back on. Do the other side up as well. We can get it down off the jack, get the axle stands out. And hopefully now this will free it off.
And as you can see, it worked and it's all back together again. Really sorry about that footage. I couldn't believe it. The camera failed, lost all that footage. But anyway, managed to get it all back together again. I took it for a spin, and just over a few miles, you could feel it getting better and better and easing off. And now it's as good as new. The actual free playing it's perfect. So obviously it's full of that duck oil still. It's lost a little bit has come out, but it's held it in there. It's sealed. The seals are obviously on either side are holding that oil within it. So there's plenty of lubricant in there sloshing around, which has got at the bearings. You can get a rebuild kit for it, and I'm hoping maybe next year, once this has been in for a good while, I'll be able to get that apart and pull that leg out, separate it, and put the big rebuild kit in it. But yeah, it's a good story though, because I say there's nothing on the internet about these at all. I've never seen one of these be stripped down. So yeah, if you know how to do this, if you've got one and you know how to separate that leg, then please drop me some comments. I'd love to know. What I'm hoping for is that when I do eventually take this out, I'll take that circlip off the end, possibly get my press in there and pop it apart. I don't know, we'll see. But if this one's video use, if you've enjoyed it, watch me struggling trying to lift this thing out. It was so heavy, I can't tell you how heavy it was. Then yeah, drop the comments and like, subscribe. I'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching.